Hi everybody, Mike Friedman here, aka your friendly neighborhood technology elf with another day of technology. Today we're going to take control by talking about remote controls. Long time ago, a cool company called Harmony came out with a universal remote control that changed everything. In the old days, you had a bunch of remote controls on your coffee table. There were some universal controls out there, but they were really difficult to program, they didn't always work, or they were really expensive. And along came Harmony, which created push buttons that initiated activities, not functions of the TV. So as an example, you could press watch a movie, and it wouldn't just turn on your TV, but it'd turn on your TV the right inputs. It'd turn on your Blu-ray player, turn on your receiver, turn on your projector, etc., etc., etc. Now, fast forward 10 or 15 years, that technology is not nearly as needed as it was a few years back. The fact of the matter is, newer remote controls from companies like Samsung will do a ton more. They will run other equipment. They will do volume control for a receiver. So they will do a lot more than a basic remote control used to do in the old days, and they'll definitely do a lot more than even a Harmony remote control did 10 or 15 years ago. However, there are some limitations, and I'm going to go through them today as to where you might want to use the remote control that comes with the TV versus a more comprehensive remote control from companies like Crestron or Savant or any of the other automation brands out there. First things first, some of what I'm about to say has been completely negated by voice control. So now you can actually program a scene with your Amazon Alexa and say, Alexa, watch a movie, and have everything I described using the Harmony happen automatically. But the limiting factor for that is everything in your system has to be Amazon Alexa enabled. If it's not, that solution or that logic isn't going to work. But more importantly, for a very complex system where there's multiple users and not everybody's going to be as dialed in, so I'm looking at maybe a home theater or a more complex media room, a universal remote control becomes a great idea. Now we go back to what I was talking about earlier. There's a button for Netflix. There's a button for Disney. There's a button to watch movies on your Blu-ray player. There's a button to watch TV. So now what we're doing is we're not talking about how to initiate those activities, just simply knowing what activities you want to initiate. But there's other things that can happen as well, like you can tie lighting remote into that. My friend John has a really great theater room that we designed a few years ago. And when you press pause on his remote control, it actually ramps up the lights again, because the assumption is when you pause the TV or the projector, it's because you want to do something and you might want to see as well. So now we've just illustrated why we might want to jump into a more comprehensive remote control, because in addition to doing all the things that Samsung remote control can do, it can do things like control the lights, control the blinds, and even pull up the security system on the screen as well. The other thing that I like about it is you have a unified control experience throughout the house. So let me give you an example where this could come in really handy. In the lower part of your house, you have a 70-inch Sony TV with a Sonos soundbar. On the main floor of your TV, you have a 65-inch Samsung Frame TV with no soundbar, but a few things hooked up to it. And in your bedroom, you have yet another TV, as well as you have a home theater. Well, in that sort of house, we would design a remote control that goes in each room, but is similar. So you don't have to learn a whole bunch of different remotes. You can pick up a remote control in the theater room, or you can pick up a remote control in the bedroom, and they may initiate different activities, but there's a button for TV, there's a button for Netflix, there's a button for music. So all these things happen as a result, and you don't have to learn a whole bunch of new technology. So if you're not techno-savvy, if you may be a little technophobic, or you just don't like to learn about new technology, this is an easy way to learn things once and to have it work universally throughout the rest of your house. The other thing that, of course, that I like about a remote control is it can do a lot more than control your electronics. As I talked about, we can do things like lighting control and have that programmed into there. And some of the more advanced remote controls will actually have the ability to do things like control the temperature in your house as well. So to me, what I'm looking at for a universal remote control is the level of experience that's desired by our clients, the level of complexity desired by our clients. And let's be honest, if you're putting a 50-inch Frame TV on the wall and all you're doing is watching Netflix, you probably don't need to invest in one of these remote controls. But if you're going to do a lot more than that, or you're vexed by technology, or it can be a little confusing for you, one of these remote controls is easy, it's consistent, and they work really well. The other thing I want to talk about very quickly is how these remote controls work. Traditionally, remote controls work with an infrared line of sight. So you point it at the TV, and if there's no line of sight, it doesn't work. So these remote controls can be what are called radio frequency or RF remote controls. They can work through doors and walls and everything else. The other reason we might want to look at one of these is we might have a bunch of equipment put away in a cabinet where we don't have a direct line of sight for the remote control. So in that case, if I had a choice between buying one of these universal remote controls or looking at a bunch of equipment in my newly remodeled living room, I'm probably going to take the remote control. It's cleaner, it's easier, and it makes everything look nice. So we have easier ability to control our scenes and our electronics. We've gotten rid of all those extra remote controls on the table. We've made it easier for everyone in the house to be able to activate the equipment. I think we've just created a very strong argument for using a universal remote control, depending on your configuration. So thank you so much for talking to me about maintaining control with remote controls. My name is Mike Friedman, aka your friendly neighborhood technology elf, and we're finishing up with another day of technology. We have another one again tomorrow, so make sure you come back again. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you then.